Everything changes at Heartland the moment Nathan steps forward with a look that no one has seen on him before. A quiet sunset settles over the ranch. The horses grow still as if they sense something coming. And Amy. She has no idea her life is about to take a sharp turn. This moment isn't just a surprise. It's the kind of moment that can change a future, reopen old wounds, and push the past back into the light. And it all begins with one unexpected question, one that could break. The episode opens with a soft breeze drifting through the open fields of Heartland. But there's tension under the peaceful surface. For days, Amy has felt a strange shift in the air, like something unspoken is following her around the ranch. Nathan has been helping out more than usual, fixing fences, grooming the horses, staying late even when he doesn't need to. Amy senses that he's holding something back, but she chooses to stay focused on her work, hoping the feeling will fade. Yet every time she turns around, she catches Nathan watching her with a quiet mix of admiration and worry. Meanwhile, Lou notices the growing closeness between the two, though she keeps her thoughts to herself. She watches from the porch as Amy and Nathan share a small laugh while training a restless horse. The laugh looks harmless, but Lou knows Amy better than anyone. She knows when Amy is trying to pretend things are simple when they are not. That hint of unease makes Lou wonder what Nathan's intentions truly are. At the same time, Jack senses something too. He may not say it out loud, but every time Nathan shows up at the ranch earlier than expected, Jack's eyebrows rise just a little higher. He's protective of Amy, always has been, and he can feel when someone is getting too close too fast. He doesn't interfere yet, but his silence is heavy enough to make anyone nervous. Amy, however, is caught between comfort and confusion. Nathan has been kind, steady, and easy to talk to, especially when the memories of Ty sneak back into her thoughts. But kindness can be complicated, and even Amy knows she isn't ready for anything big. At least that's what she keeps telling herself, as the sun sets on Heartland. The camera shows Amy walking the barn aisle, brushing dust off her hands. She pauses, looks toward the door, and sees Nathan approaching with a nervous smile. The air shifts again, deeper this time. Amy doesn't know why, but her heartbeat quickens. Something is coming. Something she isn't prepared for. And Heartland is about to feel the weight of it. Calm at Heartland forever. The air around Heartland feels heavier than usual, as if the sky itself is holding its breath. Night settles slowly, painting the fields in deep gold and soft shadows. Amy steps out of the barn, brushing stray pieces of hay from her hands, ready to call it a day. But the moment she lifts her head, she freezes. Nathan is standing a few feet away, not with his usual confident posture, but with a nervous stillness that instantly alarms her. He isn't holding tools. He isn't dressed for work. Instead, he stands there like someone preparing for a moment he's been rehearsing in his mind for far too long. His eyes meet hers, and Amy feels a tiny jolt in her chest. This isn't the look of a man asking for advice, or offering help, or even saying goodnight. This is something else. Something bigger. She takes a slow step forward. "Nathan, is everything okay?" Her voice is soft, careful, almost afraid of the answer. Nathan tries to speak but stops, swallowing hard. His hands tremble slightly, something Amy has never seen in him. She glances around, suddenly aware that the ranch is silent. No footsteps. No chatter. Even the horses seem still, watching from their stalls as if they know something important is unfolding. Nathan finally exhales. "Amy, I need to tell you something." Amy stiffens. Those words never lead anywhere simple. She tries to smile, tries to lighten the moment, but nothing about his expression encourages it. He steps closer, and the distance between them suddenly feels too small, too personal. The wind picks up, brushing Amy's hair across her face. She tucks it behind her ear anxiously. "Nathan, you're scaring me. What's going on?" He reaches into his jacket slowly, hesitantly, like he's afraid she'll run before he gets the chance to finish. And when he pulls out the small velvet box, Amy's world stops. Her breath catches. Her hands grow cold. The ground beneath her feels unsteady. Nathan's voice finally breaks the silence, soft but filled with a trembling kind of hope. "Amy, I can't keep this to myself anymore." He lowers himself to one knee. Amy's heart slams against her ribs. Her vision blurs. She didn't come outside expecting her entire life to shift in a single moment. Yet here she is, frozen between past and future, staring at a man who is about to ask the one question she never imagined hearing again. The ring box opens with a small, delicate click sound that echoes through the quiet evening like a spark waiting to ignite everything around it. And before Amy can even breathe, Nathan whispers the words that shake Heartland to its core. Will you marry me? For a long, trembling moment, the world around Amy stops moving. The wind dies down. The barn lights flicker softly. Even the distant sound of horses settling for the night fades into silence. All she can see is Nathan on one knee, his eyes filled with hope, fear, and a kind of longing she never wanted to face again. Amy doesn't speak. She can't. Her throat tightens, her hands shake, and her breath comes in quick, uneven waves. A proposal is supposed to feel warm, exciting, joyful. But this feels like standing at the edge of a cliff she never planned to climb. Nathan looks up at her, waiting, holding himself still, trying to read every small shift in her expression. She takes a single step back. It's small, almost unnoticeable, but Nathan's face changes. It's the kind of step someone takes when they're overwhelmed, when their heart is caught in a storm they didn't see coming. Amy lifts a hand to her mouth, trying to steady herself. But the weight of the moment crushes every thought. Images flash through her mind, Ty smiling at her across the barn. Their quiet mornings together, the future they planned, but never got to finish. Grief wraps around her like a cold wind, reminding her that love can disappear in a heartbeat. And now, here stands Nathan, offering her something she never asked for, something she isn't sure she can handle. Nathan rises slowly, sensing her panic but refusing to step any closer. Amy, he whispers, you don't have to answer right now. I had to tell you how I feel. I couldn't keep pretending. His voice cracks slightly, and it's the first time Amy realizes how much courage it took for him to stand here tonight, but courage doesn't erase confusion. Her pulse pounds in her ears. She looks away, toward the dark fields stretching beyond the ranch. Heartland has always been her safe place, her healing place. Tonight, it feels like the center of a storm. A faint rustle comes from behind them, one of the horses shifting in its stall, reacting to the tension in the air. Amy focuses on that sound, anything to anchor herself. She wants to speak, to calm the moment, to show him she cares. But the words simply won't form. Nathan closes the ring box gently, not in anger, but in quiet understanding. I'm not trying to replace anyone, he says softly. I care about you. More than I ever expected. Amy's eyes fill with tears she fights to hold back. She isn't ready not for this. Not today, maybe not ever. But she also knows Nathan's heart is honest. Hurting him is the last thing she wants. The silence between them deepens, stretching across the ranch like a long, uncertain shadow. Nothing has been decided. Nothing has been fixed. But one thing is painfully clear, this moment will change everything. The ranch isn't quiet for long. News at Heartland has a strange way of traveling without a word being spoken. Maybe it's the way Amy walks back toward the house, slow, unfocused, almost floating. Maybe it's the way Nathan stays behind, staring at the ground as if he dropped a piece of himself there. Or maybe it's simply the energy of the place. The way every emotion seems to settle into the wood, the dust, the air. Jack is the first to notice something is off. He's sitting at the kitchen table, polishing an old saddle buckle, but he stops mid-motion when Amy steps inside. She doesn't say a thing. She doesn't need to. Her eyes reveal everything she's trying to hide. Confusion, fear, a weight pressing down too hard. Jack studies her for a few seconds, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. But Amy gives him only a small nod, the kind that says, not now. Please, not now. Lou, on the other hand, senses the shift faster than anyone. She catches a glimpse of Amy from the hallway and instantly feels something tightening in her chest. There's no ring on Amy's hand, no visible change, but Lou can read the mood like a weather forecast. She follows Amy with her eyes, noticing how her steps are uneven, how her breath hits in sharp, shallow bursts. Lou doesn't ask questions, yet but her mind is already racing. Meanwhile, outside, Nathan still stands under the porch light, his shadow stretched across the ground. He feels the sting of rejection, even though Amy hasn't said yes or no. The silence was enough. He closes his eyes, letting the cold night air hit him, trying to swallow the fear that he's broken everything: his friendship with Amy, his place at the ranch, his hopes he never dared fully admit. Back inside, Amy slips into the living room and lowers herself onto the couch. She doesn't cry. She doesn't speak. She just sits, fingers wrapped around the edge of a cushion as though anchoring herself to something solid. Her mind is spinning. Not because she doesn't care for Nathan, but because she cares enough to. Amy slips away to the barn later that night, hoping the quiet will steady her heart. The lantern light glows softly, casting long shadows across the walls. And the smell of hay and warm horses brings a small sense of comfort. This is where she has always come to breathe, to think, to put broken pieces back together. But tonight, even the barn can't hold her thoughts still. She stands beside Spartan's stall, resting her forehead against the wooden door. Spartan nudges her arm gently, sensing the storm inside her. She closes her eyes for a moment and lets his breath warm her skin. It's grounding, familiar, yet her mind refuses to settle. Nathan's voice echoes in her memories. "Will you marry me?" The words replay again and again, sharp at first, then soft, like waves pulling her out into deeper water. Amy presses a hand to her chest, feeling the ache that never fully healed. Loving someone again, choosing someone again, it feels both impossible and unfair. As if she's betraying a past she still carries every day. Ty's memory rests right beside her every laugh, every promise, every quiet moment they shared in this exact barn. She remembers the sound of his boots on the floor, the warmth of his hand in hers, the way he believed in her, even when she doubted herself. Losing him wasn't just losing a husband, it was losing a part of the world she trusted. Now Nathan's proposal has cracked. Open emotions she buried so deeply she thought they were gone. She knows he's kind. She knows he's patient. She knows he means well. But meaning well isn't the same as being ready. And Amy is terrified that saying yes would be rushing her heart. But saying no could hurt someone who has never done anything but show her respect. Her thoughts race in circles, grief pulling one way, the hope of new beginnings pulling the other. She feels stuck between past and future, between safety and change. She isn't sure which direction will make her whole, or which one might break her again. A soft clatter from the loft startles her. She looks up to see Lyndy climbing carefully down the ladder. Amy forces a small smile as her daughter walks toward her, padding across the floor with sleepy steps. Lyndy doesn't speak. She simply climbs into her mother's lap, resting her head against Amy's chest. Amy wraps her arms around her daughter, holding her close. In that moment, she feels the truth settle into her bones. Every choice she makes isn't just hers. It belongs to Lyndy too. Her future, her stability, her sense of family, the weight of that responsibility presses hard. Too hard. As Amy strokes Lyndy's hair, her eyes drift toward the barn door, where moonlight shines through a narrow gap. Outside, life keeps moving. Inside, she remains suspended in a decision that could reshape everything she knows. Her heart whispers one thing, her fear whispers another, and the silence between them is louder than both. Morning arrives, but it carries none of the usual warmth Heartland depends on. The sky is pale, unsure of whether it wants to shine or hide behind clouds. It mirrors Amy perfectly. She walks through the ranch with slow steps, her boots brushing against frost-tipped grass, and every breath she takes feels heavy, like she's inhaling questions instead of air. Nathan hasn't returned since last night. His truck is gone, leaving behind nothing but the memory of the moment Amy can't stop replaying. The spot where he knelt feels haunted, as if the earth itself is still holding the shape of his confession. Amy avoids looking at it, but her eyes drift there anyway, drawn like a magnet to something she isn't ready to face. Jack watches her from the porch, silent and steady. He doesn't call out, He knows Amy well enough to recognize when a storm needs space to settle. But he also knows storms don't always pass on their own. Sometimes they have to be confronted. Inside the house, Lou moves through the kitchen with a nervous rhythm. She glances toward the door every few seconds, waiting for Amy to come in, waiting for a chance to speak. But when Amy finally appears in the doorway, Lou freezes. She sees the truth before Amy says a single word. Her sister is torn in two. Did something happen last night? Lou asks softly. Amy doesn't answer. Her lips part, but nothing comes out. And in that silence, Lou's eyes widen as if the pieces suddenly snap together. Without saying the words, Amy confirms everything. She excuses herself and heads back outside, needing air, needing space, needing anything that doesn't demand an answer. Heartland feels too small, too close. It's full of people who love her enough to ask questions she isn't ready to answer. When she reaches the paddock, she stops. The horses graze quietly, unaware of the storm brewing inside Amy. She leans against the fence, gripping the cold metal rail with both hands. The bite of the cold grounds her, but only slightly. She whispers into the wind, "What am I supposed to do?" The question hangs there, caught between open sky and silent fields. It isn't directed at anyone in particular, not Ty, not Nathan, not Jack or Lou. It's a question she's asking herself. The kind where no answer feels safe. Just then, footsteps crunch against the gravel behind her. Amy turns, expecting Jack or Lou. But it's Nathan. He looks tired, as if he didn't sleep, and his eyes search hers with quiet desperation. "I shouldn't have left like that," he says. His voice is fragile, almost breaking. "But I didn't want to pressure you. I needed you to know how I feel." Amy's heart clenches. She isn't angry. She isn't upset. She's simply scared. Scared of hurting him. Scared of choosing wrong. Scared of opening a part of her heart she's kept locked for so long. Nathan takes a small step closer. Enough to show courage, but not enough to corner her. "I don't need an answer right now, but I need to understand. Is there even a chance?" Amy's breath hitches. She isn't ready. She knows she isn't ready, but the words she must say, whatever they arc it on the edge of her tongue, her heart beats so hard she can hear it echoing in her ears. This is the moment before everything changes. The moment where one sentence can break or rebuild what stands between them. The moment Heartland itself seems to hold still. Waiting, Amy opens her mouth. She draws in a trembling breath. Her answer is coming, but the screen cuts to black. The world seems to freeze in that split second where Amy draws in a breath slow, shaky, fragile. Nathan stands in front of her, waiting, hoping, bracing himself for words that could change the entire direction of both their lives. The wind stirs gently around them, lifting strands of Amy's hair, as if even nature leans in to hear what she say. Her eyes soften, not with certainty, but with the weight of everything she carries: love lost, love offered, and the impossible choice caught between the two. Nathan's gaze never leaves her, and in it, she sees fear, hope, a quiet promise that he will accept whatever comes next. Amy finally opens her mouth. A single syllable forms, small and trembling, but before it shapes into anything real, a sudden shout echoes across the ranch. "Amy!" Jack's voice slices through the moment, urgent, sharp, not angry, but alarmed. Amy's head snaps toward the sound, instinct taking over before emotion. Her answer dissolves in her throat as she and Nathan rush toward the barn where Jack stands, waving them closer. Inside, one of the horses thrashes in its stall, spooked and restless. Tools lay scattered, as if the animal panicked out of nowhere. Amy immediately switches into trainer mode, her heart pounding for reasons far greater than fear of injury. She climbs into the stall, speaking softly, calming the trembling horse until it finally stayed. All the while, Nathan stands by the doorway, watching her with a mix of admiration and heartbreak. The moment they shared outside the question, breath before the answer, it now hangs, suspended in time. It's interrupted and unresolved. When the horse calms, Amy steps back, wiping sweat from her forehead. She turns toward Nathan, as if remembering the moment they left behind. He watches her closely. She wants to speak, to finish what she started, but Jack clears his throat from behind them. "You two all right?" he asks, though the look in his eyes says he already knows something deeper is happening. Amy nods quickly, too quickly, and Nathan forces a small smile. The space between them fills with unspoken words, tight and fragile. Jack's presence is enough to keep those words locked away for now. Nathan steps back, hands in his pockets, voice low. "We'll talk later." Amy swallows hard. Later. But they both know later is a cliff, and neither of them can see what's on the other side. As Nathan walks into the fading light, Amy remains by the barn door, watching him grow smaller in the distance. Her heart pulls in two directions at once, and for the first time, she realizes she isn't choosing between the past and the future. She's choosing who she wants to become. The screen begins to darken. Music rises soft, emotional, uncertain. Then the final line appears across the fading image. What will Amy choose? Find out in Heartland Season 19, Episode 8. The music drops to silence. The video ends, and the audience is left breathless, still waiting for the answer. Amy never got the chance to speak.